Welcome to NoobAquatics. This is Matthew. Thank you all of my subscribers and anybody else new to the channel. Remember, if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe so you can be updated with any new videos. Make sure you hit that like if this video is to your liking. So what we are bringing to you today is we have recently moved from Ohio to Missouri, and we wanted to show you the steps, the high-level steps of what we did to get all of our tanks, our entire fish room packed up and moved 11 and a half hours away. So if anybody out there is trying to figure out what to do with their tanks, with their fish, and try to get them to move and doesn't want to pay a company or anything like that, or if you're trying to figure out how to do it, I'm sure there are multiple ways, but this is what we did. So let's take a look at the process we took. Now, stage one was packing the house. What we did to pack the house, of course, just like any other house packing, you grab all your crap and you put it into a box and voila, it's packed, right? But stage two of packing and moving was taking care of the fish tanks, the fish, and getting those ready to go so that we can put them into the Uhaul and put them into the back of our truck and transport them almost 650 miles. Alright, so let's get into the videos. We pieced together everything from the start to the finish to the setting up of the new temporary fish room. So we hope you enjoy. Make sure you hit, add your comments below if you want us to respond to them, and hit that like button if you like. Let's get into the video. Alright, so we are on to stage two, which is removing the plants from the tanks. Now we're putting them all in buckets of tank water. Stage one was packing the house. You'll see that the house is all packed up. Alright, boxes everywhere, everything off the walls. And now, stage two. Work on the tanks. So as you'll see, no plants. I am slowly getting rid of the plants in here. Slowly getting rid of the plants in there. There's our 40-gallon tank. Alright, nothing in there. Alright, and we plan on doing that. We're going to do all the tanks today and get all the plants out of every tank except for that 2.5. That 2.5 will be the last tank we do. Alright. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. We are using buckets. All right, buckets with lights. Some of the buckets will go over there on the window. And for some of the plants, unfortunately, because they have a tendency to melt so quickly, they're going in bags. All right. Those right there, those specific plants that melt are like the cryptocorin crypts and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where we're at. Tomorrow we will bag up all the fish and drain a lot of the water, and we got even more buckets. You see, buckets that came out of this box. There's a box of buckets, and 2 more boxes of buckets. And then over here, you see that's the lid that we already own. We got a stack of lids right there. All right. Well, wish us luck. We are now in stage 2 of our moving, and we are ready and roaring to go, and we are spending all day pulling plants. Of course, we're starting with the tanks that have the most plants because everything else will just seem like a piece of cake. Except for that beta tank. There's so much Valsinaria in there that may feel like I'm emptying this tank. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much again for coming and watching us pack up our fish. Next step is on to stage 3, packing the fish. All right, so one thing I know about moving fish and moving in general is that it is exhausting. So we are now done with stage 2 of moving, which is getting all of the plants that are inside the tank into buckets and ready to go. So let's take a look at what the finishing of stage 2, packing your fish and your house, looks like. All right, we are at stage 3 of cleaning up the fish tanks and taking them out. So we got all the fish out of all the tanks. All right, my oldest son's helping me get all the shrimp out, which is taking forever. All righty, look at that. So next stage is to take substrate out. So we're going to take some substrate out of here. out of the big one there and out of that one there, because those will weigh an exceptional amount of pounds if we don't. And yeah, so that's the next step. After that, it's just removing the remaining water in the tanks, and we're done. Take a look at all the buckets we have so far. Lots of them. Alrighty, I'll see you when we're done. So after we got done with loading up the fish into the bags and the buckets, what we ended up doing is that we ended up loading the U-Haul with all of our boxes and furniture and everything, and then I strapped all the furniture using like the mattresses and stuff, using ratchet straps that can hold 6 to 10,000 pounds per strap, and I used 2 of them. And then at the very end of the truck, the very back, what I did was I made sure that I rented about 6 dozen pads. They didn't even give us that many, but that was what I rented. I ended up getting 3 dozen pads, and what I ended up having to do is lay a bunch of blankets on the floor, and I laid the fish tanks on top of the blankets, and then I covered all of the fish tanks with the blankets as well, so the glass was protected. The 75-gallon tank, though, that thing was stuck to the stand, so we actually had to lift that and carry it all the way to the U-Haul without taking it off the stand. And unfortunately, it actually had to drive all the way to Missouri on the stand. So what I did was I strapped it to the wall. I strapped both the stand using some some mountain climbing rope that had a little bit of elasticity with it, and used some fisherman knots on there, and I had strapped the tank itself to the walls using the same mountain climbing rope. And then of course I covered it with blankets and stuff before I did that, and we actually traveled with that thing standing up on the stand all the way to Missouri. The fish, though, in order to keep the fish at temperature, we put them all in bags. So all the fish, all the shrimp were put in bags as if we were shipping them off to someone's house. And all of those fish went into buckets, or not buckets, went into giant Tupperware bins, and we actually put those in the truck. We put them in the truck because the truck, we could maintain the temperature all the way to Missouri at a steady, 76 to 78 degrees, which made it a lot easier keeping the fish at a comfortable temperature. The sponge filters and everything, they were all transported in the water, so they would not lose any of their bacterial, any of the bacteria or anything that was good on them. We didn't lose it. I did clean them though using some old tank water, so at least whenever they got to the new place, the sponge filters had been cleaned at least once, because putting them back into the water with being as dirty as they were would have been a mess. So we had to clean them using the tank water, but they traveled in tank water in the buckets all the way to Missouri. And the substrate also traveled in buckets with tank water all the way to Missouri. And this ensures that your substrate layer, even though it was disturbed, still contains all the good bacteria, still contains all the good microbes and little bitty creatures and stuff that's down there that helps get rid of the detritus, that type of thing. But yeah, so that's how we transported the fish, and the plants and the buckets and everything all the way to Missouri. I was not able to get a video of all that, so I do apologize. We were really exhausted by the time we got done packing up all the fish into the bags and the plants into the buckets and carrying everything out to the U-Haul. Those buckets were heavy. Even unloading them over at my mom's house, which is our temporary location, was exhausting. So we didn't get much of the unloading recorded as well, so I do apologize for that, but the unloading was exactly the same. That 75-gallon tank on that solid wood stand was extremely heavy, lifting up those, I don't know, I think it was 5 stairs or 6 stairs, but me and my brother got it. We picked that thing up off the ground and we got it up into the house and got it into the room. So the next video you're going to see here is us. We have arrived at my mom's house in Missouri, and we have already unloaded the truck, or we have already started unloading the truck and setting up the fish room. So you're going to see the room prior to us getting all the tanks and equipment and stuff in there. So let's take a look at that video. All right, so we are at the final stage 3. So this is the room that all our fish tanks are going to go in temporarily until we get a house. All right. We're going to put all of our tanks in here, all 13. There's already one stand. All right, here's all the fish.
These are the fish, yeah.
It's all the fish and lids. I'm pointing it down, don't worry. Here's all our water. All of it made it for the most part. I had to fix one of the handles. All the plants look still green. They're looking good.
Yeah, they are.
All right. And here's the truck. Huh? He doesn't want to be in the video. All right, so here is the truck. So as you see all these gray pads, these are all the fish tanks. We haven't seen them yet, so let's hope they're not all, pieces of glass, right? This one right here, we couldn't get it off of the stand. It was stuck, so I found a way to just kind of strap it. And look at this, look how loose. Oh yeah, I cut the line. Yeah, but yeah, so we're all good. All right, I'll come back whenever we get everything inside and get it all starting to set up. All right, so we finally got all the fish tanks out of the truck. So let's take a look at them and make sure that everything is good. And I'll show you that the trip all the way here, 640 miles away from where we used to live, everything is in perfect condition. So let's take a look at everything here in our new temporary fish room. All right, so here is our new temporary fish room. Okay. We have our 20 gallons, 10, 29, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 40, 75, and the 210s. Everything is intact. I don't see any scratches or any seals that are broken. Everything made it in perfect condition. All right, got 2 awesome windows here that I can open up to get natural light to my pothos and adenosize and all the other plants that live outside of the top. But yeah, everything looks amazing. Now, here's some improvements I made. All right, these right here were hanging on the back of a shelf. I now made a stand that comes up and comes over and balances out the light this way. I lowered that a little bit so the light's a little bit farther away. This right here I created a light stand for. Let's get a better look here. Yep, so I connected it down there. All right, and extended it out. So now this will get light going up here, straight down to the tank. And we're going to make some changes. So stay tuned for those changes. Once we get everything up and running and the fish back acclimated, let's wait to see how many fish actually survive. All right, thanks for continuing to watch part 3 that is still in progress. All right, so we got all the tanks in here. We got them partially set up. You'll see they got water. They're holding water. We haven't planted any of the plants yet. That's the next step. We've been a little busy today, so we weren't able to get any of the plants planted. So over the next 3 days, we're going to come back and start planting the plants. We're going to start adding the plants up into the top where they were before. Down there. They're here. Up there. That type of thing. But yeah, we are moving right along. Moving right along. So yeah, it's coming right along. Coming right along. So yeah. All right, the place is coming together. We got plants in the tanks, in the top at least. All right, over here. It's taken over several days, mainly because yesterday I got really sick and I couldn't get out of bed. But yeah, it's coming right along. We don't have anything on the inside reset up yet, but all the fish and everything seem to be doing pretty well. Well, yeah, it's coming right along. Alrighty, well, thank you for being on the ride of this long journey. It took us a whole week because the whole family got sick. But let's take a look at how the new fish room looks. Alright, and this is temporary until we can actually find a real house. So this is a teeny tiny little bedroom. Alright, let's take a look at how we set up the tanks. Alright, so this is the pelvic tank. Pelvicochromis tenuatus adnate. Kind of hard to see with the glare, but here's the Betas tank. Now we decided to go with just Valsinaria in there because of the fact that it covers the top really well. It is leopard Valsinaria. And the funny thing about in here is the male enjoyed the move so much that he's probably holding a good 30 or 40, maybe even close to 100 eggs in his mouth right now. So he's holding. For some reason he enjoyed the change. This is our future Medaka tank. Everybody knows the Killy tank. Looks completely different now. We put a clump, and when I say clump, we put a massive clump of Java moss in the back corner, and they've already been utilizing it. That's where they've been laying their eggs. Alright, these tanks are empty. These are going to house some clown killifish in this tank. Babies in that tank. All empty so far. Alright, these are the new Epistogramma tanks. Or should I say the rearing tanks. We currently have one female and one male in here. Alright, and there they are. There's the male. Right there, the female's right here. So once they get used to in there and they start, wanting to mate again, she's already found a cave. I gave them 2 to choose from, but once she's got eggs in there, I'll move him into this tank, and hopefully see the female there. They will lay eggs, and then after that, the male will go into the 75. Here's the 75. I took out all the Bacopa. I took out all the Bacopa and put in some really long leopard Valsinaria in the back there. The fish really like that. And I made it more of an open floor plan. Still got our plants on top growing. It'll take a while before they get back. Here's my daughter's tank with the Albi marginatus in here. Future Medaka tank back there. This has got one single beta in it. But in this tank, the Albi tank, the male released all his babies. Those little black lines you see, there. Those are little baby fish swimming around. He released about 20 or so baby betas. So we'll let them grow up. We just fed them some banana worms, and I'm gonna throw in I threw in some infusoria, and I'm gonna have to crush some flakes, and we'll come back and keep feeding them. And then in here we have our pygmy corridor tank, of course, and this is the way it looks like now. Made a lot of changes, but we were able to, so now we just need everything to start growing again. But yeah, so that's how the new fish room, the new temporary fish room looks. All set up and all ready to go. Well, thank you so much again for coming back to NoobAquatics. This journey has been great. We're moving from Ohio to Missouri. It was a long move. It was exhausting, but all 13 tanks made it on the Uhaul. I gave a large prayer asking God to make sure everything arrived in the condition that it left in, and everything arrived in the condition that it left in, except for the plants. A lot of them died. But like the crypts right there, but that was bound to happen. I knew those would melt. But, well, thank you so much. Well, hopefully you enjoy this move video and understanding of why we haven't been posting videos a lot lately. But if I come up with any more videos, I will put them up ready to go and post them. This one here is the exception. I just wanted everybody to see how the move went and that everything made it. Well, thanks so much for coming to NoobAquatics. We are happy if you would subscribe to our channel and hit that like button if you like this video, and make sure you come back and check us out for more videos in the future. You have a wonderful fishy day.